Greetings, privyet, dobra večer, privyet is Minsk. Alright, so it's a lovely, lovely Friday evening. I'm on my bike, as usual. It's a beautiful Friday evening. On my bike, cycling around in a nearby park. You can see it's quite bumpy on my bike. Yeah, actually is, by the way. Okay, so I have to say I've got a very, very good reaction from my questions and answers that I held on Tuesday night. Excellent reaction. So since then I have received a question from one of my subscribers, and the question was what are my impressions of Belarusian people? So I said, well, okay, I'll do it. I know it's going to be a bit of a, we could get some controversy. I hope we don't anyway, but yeah. So anyway, last night I sat down in preparation for this, for this vodcast or podcast, okay? And when I sat down and when I decided to do this, I actually realized that the Belarusian and Irish people have a lot more in common than they actually think. So anyway, here we go. So let's start with the similarities between Irish people and Belarusian people then, shall we? Okay. Well, there's the obvious one. Alcohol and potatoes. We love alcohol. Belarusian people love alcohol. And we love potatoes. Belarusian people love potatoes. Oh yeah. We even had a famine over potatoes in the mid-19th century. Killed a million and a half of us, but still, we're still here. And when it comes to alcohol, well, you know the story. Belarusians like to drink a lot. So do we. We drink a lot of beer and whiskey. We invented whiskey, if you didn't know that. And, well, this country here has a bit of an alcohol problem. Well, so does Ireland. In terms of alcohol per capita consumption per head of population, Belarus is number 2 or number 3 in the world. Ireland is like number 4, number 5. Okay, so straight away there are two similarities. Okay, alcohol and potatoes. The next one, it's an interesting one, and it's one that I have a lot of familiarity with, is the very similar sense of history. My own country, Ireland, came under the domination of Great Britain, from about the mid-16th century onwards, up to, well, pretty much today even, okay, because the northeastern part of the country of Ireland, the island of Ireland, is still under the control of Great Britain, okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, we were once part of the British Empire. That's why I'm speaking to you in English. English is my first language. I'm the 3rd generation of my family to speak it as a first language, okay. So yeah, we were part of the British Empire, and also Ireland was fought over by many European powers, particularly Spain and France and Holland, over the last 300 to 400 years. So yeah, we've been thrown around. Likewise, Belarus came under the control of the Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Then of course we had the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union and all the entails of that. So yeah, that's another similarity, the historical similarity. My own country dominated by the British Empire, Belarus here dominated by the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, by the Russian Empire, and then by the Soviet Union. Okay, so that's the historical parallel. I can relate to that, very much so. Okay, now that's the history. Let's move on to the people, shall we? So, people-wise, I find Belarusian people to be very kind, very warm-hearted people. Very much like Irish people. We're a bit easygoing. You know, I can relate a lot to the people here. People here are very kind, you know. If you're in trouble, they'll go out of they will go out of their way to help you anytime. So yeah, people are nice here. Very, very kind, very warm. Pretty much like back home, okay? Alright, on to the next similarity then, between Ireland and Belarus, Irish people and Belarusian people. Okay, hang on a second. Is that a big pothole on my road? Okay, I'll steer clear of that. Okay, so The next similarity, guys, is conservatism. Irish people and Belarusian people are very conservative by nature. What I mean by that is they don't like change. If you recall, in the early 1990s, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, there was a new government installed here, well, elected here, and it was a liberal government, and they carried out a lot of neoliberal economic policies with disastrous consequences. So because of that, Belarus went back to what they know best, stability, and that's why Alexander Lukashenko was elected as president, the first president in 1994. We're the same as well. We are by nature a very conservative people. I put that down to the influence of the Catholic Church, although it is waning at the moment. But yeah, you know, we do have a lot of similarities there. Okay, so conservatism. Okay, do I have any more? Oh yes, one more. Belarusian people like to complain a lot. It's an art form. Well, guess what? So do we. We love to complain. All right. So let's have a bit of a recap then, shall we? So what were the similarities that I mentioned? Okay. So I said that it was alcohol, potatoes, history, domination by the Russian Empire and British empires especially, and personality of the people, kindness, warm-heartedness, and also, oh yeah, what did I mention as well? Oh yes, complaints. People love to complain. Alright, those are the similarities. Now with pluses, there are always going to be negatives, pros and the cons. Let's move to the cons then, shall we? So here are the differences. Now, some of these I find rather strange, bewildering, even though I've been living here for the last 4 years or so. Okay, the differences. Here we go. Now, as I mentioned, Belarusian and Irish people love to complain a lot. That's true. Belarusian people tend to blame themselves. We don't. We always like to place our blame on our former colonial masters, Great Britain. So if anything goes wrong in Ireland, a lot of people actually will not put the blame on the local politicians. They will say, oh, it's because of the British that we're in this situation, that we have poor infrastructure, that we have a shoddy government, that because of the system that they gave us, that they left us when we left the UK way back. So yeah, we like to blame outsiders, and the British are a very, very convenient scapegoat. Okay, let's move on then to the next difference between Irish people and Belarusian people. Okay, now, as I mentioned, Belarusian people are very kind and warm-hearted. However, you guys are very closed off to outsiders. And you only open up when you get to know people. Back home, back in Ireland, it's actually a lot more different than that. Okay, so back in my country, people are very open, people are very friendly, and it's not unusual for you know, to walk into a bar back home, sit down in the pub, watch the football match, and you know, strike up conversation with the person beside you. Back home, that's actually quite normal. Here, that'll be actually construed as being downright weird. People would automatically think, what's in it for me? What does he want from me? Okay, so that's the first difference. That's what's the second difference. So yeah, people here are not very open, very closed. Okay. Reason number 3. The third difference. Here we go. You guys cannot do small talk. Oh, this drives me crazy as an Irish person. We excel in small talk. We love small talk. Small talk is our forte. You know, I like to come into work, talk to my local colleagues here, Belarusian colleagues, and so of course I have a conversation. Well guys, how was the weekend? Great weather, blah blah blah, you know. And to get words out of them is like extracting blood from a stone. It's incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable. You know, they'll just stop mid-sentence. I say, well, Dimitri, how was your weekend? And he'll say, yeah, good. What did you do? Went to the dacha. Yeah, what did you do there? Had shashlik, drank vodka. Whom did you meet? Oh, I went with some friends. What happened? So, they don't continue on a conversation. It's just that it is, you know, they stop and they wait for you then to ask the next question, rather than saying, well, how was your weekend? What did you get up to? And what about you? So this isn't a very, very important part of socializing with other people, because it's very, very important, particularly people from my culture, to ask a return question. What about you? Well, what do you think? Because that kind of behavior, you know, to Irish people like myself here, is construed as being, you know, rude, basically. So guys, open up, you know, just be sociable. Ask that question, return question, and what about you? I tell you, it's worth $1 million. Trust me on that. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to hear the excuse about language. I speak Russian as well, you know. I always go back with, well, with tepya, you know, what about you? Kakti, and so on. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't hurt, guys. It doesn't break the bank to ask a follow-up question. Okay, and what about you? Okay. So yeah, small talk you guys don't do. Okay. Another thing as well, guys. Say thank you to the bus driver. Back home, this is normal. It could be the worst day of your life. You'd be going to work, freezing cold, wet, rainy, windy morning. But the one thing I always do is I always say is thank you to the bus driver, or the marshutka driver here. Say spasiba. Doesn't break the bank. Often get some strange looks. But yeah, that's just the way it is, guys. This is the way it is. So yeah, there are my impressions of the people from Belarus from the perspective of an Irishman. So guys, that is it from me for Friday night. So don't forget, make some comments below, like, subscribe, put some comments in the chat and whatnot, and share. Okay, so yeah, be good. Hope you have a nice weekend. So right now, I am on my way to my local Bell Market, because, whoops, I'll tell you why, guys. My Alavaria, Bela Zalota, Nefiltorovna calls. Always have one of these on a Friday night. Oh yeah, here's a similarity between Irish people and Belarusian people. Your beer is awesome. I love it. Alright guys, stay tuned for more adventures over the weekend, and I'll see you sometime soon. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. I'm off to the Bell Market. It's time to get some Friday beers in. Chat to you later.